Welcome to I Heart Geek.
And welcome to another episode of I Heart Geek. This is a strange episode because so I figured we should talk about Stranger Things. We're in that kind of window where we had to get it done this week. So yeah. Henceforth, Stranger Things season 4.
Season 4. I thought this was
just
about Stranger Things in the geek culture. I'm at the wrong show. No, I'm kidding.
Tough. I will take your notes. I'm Dub. I'm here with Ryan. We're here with Tyler. We're here with Christina, and we are talking about really the phenomenon of Stranger Things. Oh. Now, okay, I'm gonna come out hot out of the gate out of this one.
Oh, here we go.
Season 1 was fantastic. It was nostalgic and it was incredible. Season 4 has been the best season, like by far. 2 and 3, I don't care about. Why is season 4 so good? I told you I was going to come out hot on that
older.
Because they're older?
The actors are older. That is 100% what makes like one of those like child-loving shows, one of those like kid shows or kid actor-centered shows. When those actors age into adult, it just elevates everything. Harry Potter was the same thing. Sorcerer's Stone, not great.
But the movies are unbelievable. The movies themselves.
I get they're different. I would dispute this.
I want to dispute this just because of something Howard Stern said. Howard Stern, when he was trying to explain this, he's all, "Yeah, it's a show and it's amazing and it's about these kids, but don't worry about the kids. They don't matter, but they're everything in the plot, but they don't matter. So don't worry about the kids. It's just a great movie." And that's kind of how it. I don't care that they're children in this. It's kind of horrific. But okay, so what about you, Tyler? What do you think?
I feel like they just upped the ante big
by a lot.
Yeah, because in the beginning it had its horror vibes, but man, they turned up the horror dial big time on this one. It got real tense, real scary, real dark, and they did what they did times 10. Leaving you wondering, like you think it's going this way, and then bam, it just makes a left turn out of nowhere.
Yeah,
I think that's what it was. They just upped the ante so much.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Christina?
Okay, so for me, it was darker. It was pedal to the metal, something that rhymes with metal. To the walls.
Windows.
It never let up. It never let up. And I think the other thing is these were not like 45-minute episodes. We were getting feature films in every time it came out. Yeah. And I think that in itself was such a brilliant move. It was like movie after movie after movie versus 30 to 45-minute episodes.
Yeah. And they didn't lag.
No.
We got full movies and we did not each episode. We did not
get any fillers. None of those episodes
20 minutes going, come on.
Yes. No, they eased into the gas, like they eased us into it. Like 1 ramped up to 2, 2 ramped up to 3, and they hit 3, and it's just pedal to the floor, and it didn't let up.
But I think 1 was a little more special. Maybe that's just because of the nostalgia factor with it. I feel like a lot of the nostalgia goes away by 4, as far as the music and all that stuff. I mean, you still know it's the time period, but to me, I didn't feel like nostalgic anymore. It just felt like this is happening now, even though they're wearing cool clothes that I remember. Go ahead, Christina.
I think that maybe a part of that is because they kept the cinematography a little more simplistic in season 1. And because season 4 is so much darker, I think that they used more of it. So I feel like that in itself, that, we're not watching Ghostbusters or E.T. from the 80s because it was so amazing. But I still got all the feels from like the 80s and.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So now I want to hit this. There's 2 particular characters that I really want to hit before we hit everything else. And I think they were the cultural shifts that happened. And one of these was Eddie Munson.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Lord.
This guy he could have played this so boring and just so straight, and he came in with an innocence that was just crazy. Why? I mean, it seems like whether you watch Stranger Things or not, you know who this character is. Everybody knows about the good Metallica scene. What is it that everybody drew on with this character so much? Let's start with you, Christina.
So Eddie makes you feel like you're a part of the story. He's the everyday. He did for me in season 4 what Bob Newby did for me in season 2. That was another character for me that was just lovable, innocent, such a good heart. And I bawled when he died. So it's kind of the same thing. They draw you in and hey, I could be this person. And I feel like that he puts the audience right there in those moments, and he does it so freaking amazingly. Like from episode 1, you are in love with this character.
Yeah.
I think he's the character that, I mean, he's the one you resonate with at the end of every episode. You're just like, what's going to happen to Eddie next?
Yeah.
Every show has that one character that kind of just like busts on the scene and ends up as everybody's favorite. But he's the guy you vibe with here.
Yeah.
He's the cool guy. He's the guy that all the geeks want to be or want to be around. He's not the most popular kid in school, but he's himself. He's his own person.
He's the guy that thinks he's cool, but he's not cool at all. He's definitely got that
he's
overblown.
so uncool, it's cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Tyler, I mean, I see you have the toy right there. I mean,
that's right. I absolutely love this character, and I think that's just a resounding thing throughout the Stranger Things community right now. He's that guy that, though he was portrayed in the show as like this freak, this outcast, I honestly feel like majority of people I went to high school with would really get along with this guy. He resonates with all of us in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Because there was always the guy in high school, right? That he wasn't a jock, but he was not quite with the stoners. He wasn't quite
he
with,
definitely
you know what
probably
I mean?
beat you up.
He blended in
maybe
with everybody, but yet he stood out so well.
He's the
I had a
person
couple of them in my school that was just everybody loved this person. I think it was the personality once you got to know him.
They lie about everything, exaggerate everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, if not that, they could be the complete opposite. You know, he was when the cheerleader came over, and he was super genuine with her. You know, he was just like, you know, what are you doing here? Why are you talking to me? You know,
oh my gosh, I wanted to see where that would have went. I think love that relationship.
Yeah, and there was a level of like authenticity that came through out of his character that I think most people just absolutely were drawn to.
So he's
yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, can we hit everybody?
To me, he's the guy who like, you know, there's always that one kid in school who, like, every time you talk to him, you're just kind of like sucked into the conversation. Like you're there. Like most people, like you're like, yeah, I don't care what you say, but for some reason you're like kind of hanging on every word he says. And I think the refreshing thing was like with the Duffer Brothers, they've on multiple occasions have admitted to killing off a character too soon. They admitted to killing off the cheerleader too soon. But that transparency that even the creators are letting the show drive the show, and they're molded by what's going on screen. I think that's
such
refreshing.
a fantastic death. He had a worthy death. I say, and that's what I want to see from the show. I want everybody to die by the end, but I want it all. I want every death to mean something, and that meant something. I know that sounds horrible. I hope at the end of next season, we're going to talk about this in a few minutes, but I want half the cast to be dead at the end of this. It needs to. And that's not me being like ugly, because it means so
it's
much
just dark,
more.
not ugly.
No.
I don't think it is, because Eddie 100% redeemed everything about himself through his death, because he went out like a champ. You know,
11 needs to kill Vecna, and it cost her Mike. Like, it needs to cost everything.
Yes, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that. And now the other one I want to talk about, who was just a breakout who I wanted to see more scenes with, is Argyle. This guy was made to be on my TV screen constantly. Yeah. This guy would have been Cheech, I think, if he would have been born at the right time. He's so perfect. He just want to like take his little cheeks and just I don't know. And the pizza scene is just fantastic. I don't know if I'm just more in love with this character than everybody else is, but I can't stop talking about this guy. He's the one I want to survive at the end. More than 11, more than Will, more than Mike. I want him to survive.
Wow.
I don't know. He's just such a fun character.
I love him. I think he is, if you took Cheech, Garth from Wayne's World, and then the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that is Argyle. And I love him. And I think Eduardo Franco did such a good job of the portrayal. Mm-hmm. And he's special.
Yeah,
like
he is
every time he's on there, you get this smile like, oh, it's Argyle.
Yeah, I feel like he's world's greatest sidekick.
Yes.
Tyler, what do you think about him?
At first I was a little annoyed with him.
I get that.
It took a while, but I warmed up to him. I think it was probably the pizza shop when they made the sensory deprivation tank. He grew on me then when he was like, "Man, I got you covered." He's like measuring her out. Oh yeah, I got something for you. And then they put her in the tank, and what does the stoner do? Of course, he's making a pizza. Yes. It's just like he played into all the tropes of the stoner character, but yet he wasn't like all the stoner characters I've seen, because he was like really scared of a lot of things, and he was like
that was the paranoia.
Like, yeah.
And we got introduced
to
it
wasn't
like
just
pizza.
Random paranoia. Like, it was just like when things started going awry, he's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. It just he was the trope, but he wasn't. I don't know.
That's fair to say.
It. And he did. He grew on me. He was fun.
Yeah. Ryan?
It's like if you take the most stereotypical piece of the 1980s stoner and then like the California Kid or whatever.
Yeah,
and then just drop him in as the only comic relief in a show that's taking horror to its next level, at least for the show. I mean, it's not the scariest thing you're ever going to watch, but it is a sci-fi horror movie, and he's just straight up like comic gold, like right through it. It's like he's funny enough to remove you from the moment. And that pizza shop scene is just like, it's so perfect.
Yes.
Like, what else is he going to be doing? He's going to be making a pizza. I know exactly where we can get that much salt. Let's go to my pizza place. And he like immediately walks in the door. He's on the same page with the employees there. It's exactly how you expect it to play out.
It's very cool how they did it.
It's so funny.
Now, I have a question. Noah Schnapp, who played Will, who did he piss off? Why did the creators of the show hate him so much? First off, he's the one that's stuck in the upside down, and then he's going through all this torture, which is cool. And then we go up to he's gonna have I can't read what that says.
It says Will's freaking haircut. Why?
I was just we're getting that 1 second. And then the second part was they put him into a love triangle to someone that's not going to be attracted to him. Yay. Okay, so we hate you more, Will. Okay, well, and now we're going to leave you with that stupid haircut you've had, and your head keeps growing, but your haircut does not. It's so unfortunate. Do they hate him, or is that just a me thing?
I'm sure we're going to find out in the end why he's
when
going
his guts
through
get
as
torn
much
out,
of
we'll
what
know.
he is. There's going to be a connection or something. There's going to be a reason why Will is just so centered into all this rottenness, including his barber, which I feel like that maybe they're trying to come off as like his mom cuts his hair, that type of thing.
Maybe.
I don't know.
But her brother,
I know they don't have like a lot of money, they don't kind of come off.
Yeah, but they also get separated for a long period of time, so that stuff's got to grow.
Yeah, that's true.
And his brother has the face of a 90-year-old man, so I mean that you have to feed that.
Yeah, what's going on there?
That face scares me. That is a frightening face.
I feel nostalgic for his haircut. I had a bowl cut as a kid.
But did it keep growing with your face? I'm hoping it kept growing. It was the same bowl.
Yeah, it was the same bowl my mom used to comb my hair with.
Maybe it's a Floby thing.
Oh, yeah.
Floby!
Okay, so
I think he's the tragedy.
Yeah,
he's the tragedy here. He's while you think Eleven's life is the hardest, or you think Mike's got it hardest trying to deal with her across the country, or Max and her depression dealing with her brother. No, I think Will's the tragedy. Will's the ultimate like tragedy story here.
Well, you know who Will really is, and this is going to sound. I just came up with this now, but this makes sense to me. He is the damsel in distress. He's who they keep having to save, who they're going to have to keep saving. You know, as I say, he's going to have to pine after Mike. We all know that's coming. Which Mike's not going to be like, not going to be attracted. So they're putting him in impossible situations that he's going to have to constantly hurt and be rescued from. I don't know.
Yeah, if this were on Disney Plus, he'd be a Disney princess.
I'm not the one that said that, folks. Just wanted to point that out to y'all. Okay. Now let's talk about the relationships in the show. The more I thought about it, the more I'm like, wow, they shoehorned everybody into a relationship this season. Everybody. Now let's talk about the ones we liked and ones we didn't. I love the Jim and Joyce relationship.
I love it.
Absolutely.
I feel like it drives a major part of the story.
That to me, that's good. We're not focusing on the kids for this thing because I think it was a grown-up relationship versus kids' puppy love. And I think there's something, and you see her go through her ex-husband, you see her go through Rudy, and then you see her go end up with Jim, and it's like, this is really, I mean, it's a whole journey, and I really like their relationship. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on their relationship. Honestly, this is what, more than anything else, this is what hooked me on this season, is their relationship and what she went through to get him. Let's start with you, Ryan.
I think it's a nice story, but it is all encompassed in the one part of the show that I just could not.
Really? Oh, the Russian stuff?
I did not like the Russian stuff. I'm so glad if it's wrapped up. It is the one thing that removed me from the story more than anything else.
Really?
Because it feels so it feels like it feels more over the top stereotypical of Russia than the surfer boy kid that Argyle is. Like it's not a good version of Russia.
But isn't that part of the charm of the show is the stereotypes?
Yeah, but it's like, at least with the New Mexico stuff, it feels like you're in New Mexico. It feels like you're like stuff's going on with Eleven's part of the story. It feels like what Eleven's going through, what Hawkins is going through feels like what Hawkins is going through in the 1980s. But Russia just feels like, oh, we need to make it seem like the Russia they asked us to be completely terrified of in the 1980s. And that I could not get behind it. I still can't get behind it. It's the one part that like I felt was dragging. The relationship was nice. I love the build up, and Jim and Joyce seeing each other for the first time is amazing. But after that, it's just like we hang around in Russia so much longer than we needed to.
Now, and I might agree with you if it wasn't for the debacle in the third season with 11 and her sisters and the goth phase that went nowhere.
Oh, Lord.
And honestly, I've kind of put everything on that scale. As long as it's not as bad as that, I don't mind the Russia stuff. And I think that's kind of probably, if that hadn't happened, I probably would have felt the same as you. I think that's fair. Christina, what about you? What's your thoughts on this relationship?
So I love this relationship, and the Russia stuff didn't really take me out of it. I think it is very stereotypical of how we, growing up in the 80s, how we thought about Russia. I mean, you look at shows like Top Gun, the Russians were the bad guys. The one thing I did like was having a very human villain. And so even though that's how they wrote it, I liked it. And as far as Jim and Joyce, I love them. I liked Bob and Joyce, but I love Jim and Joyce. Like there's this, and maybe it's because they've worked together for 4 seasons now, but you can tell that there's a friendship connection on top of this romance that they're trying to build. And so they're seamlessly just bounce back and forth across each other. And I've read a couple of articles that some of that stuff is very ad lib, and it's just very like them just leading that story.
Yeah. It feels so real.
Yeah.
Tyler?
No, it does. It feels very authentic or real. I love how like she's just so stressed out and neurotic all the time, and he is such a rock for her.
Yeah,
because most of the time he is rock solid, other than when we first got to know him. But yeah, they play off each other so well. Their chemistry is so good.
Yeah,
it's a great story. I'm glad they decided to bring them back together, and it wasn't some we're going to kill him off while he's fighting something in Russia.
Oh, he needs to die at the end, but that had nothing to do with it.
What is it with you and everybody? Fine.
Okay,
no, Hopper's got to stay around. I love Hopper.
I love Hopper.
This was a star maker for him.
Absolutely.
So far. Okay, I want to hit 2 relationships that I really, really didn't like. One of them was the Lucas and Max. I think they're more interesting on their own. I don't care if they're together. I want them to be friends. They have the chemistry together of water and water. It's like, okay. Go ahead, Christina. I think you have something to say about that.
I actually agree with you until the very end. And that moment where Max dies, and that is
spoiler. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
That is such an emotion-packed moment for both of those. As actors, I was crying. I was blown away at that, and I was like, huh. But yes, prior to that, I could have taken him or left him either way. But that moment pulled me in a way I wasn't expecting.
Tyler?
I really actually liked them a lot. Just because they were just so unlikely. And I think if you were there in Hawkins going to that school, you'd look at both of them and be like, that's okay. I wouldn't have figured they'd be together, because her personality and his personality, and especially now that they're older and he's trying to become a jock, or at least, he thought he wanted to go that way. They were just so unlikely of a pair. So it was super awkward all the time, and you could tell that there was really, every time they looked at each other, there was something there, but they're just so awkward.
Yeah. Well, this show definitely does push the pairings. This whole season really did really bad.
But then that scene in
that ending was great.
Oh my God, dude.
But I don't think there had to be the romantic involvement for that to have that impact. You could love somebody without being in love with them.
Yeah, they could have been.
Because that's my favorite relationship.
But I don't feel
we'll talk about that in a minute.
Oh, we have a couple of those. Yeah. I hope there's nothing going on some of these. Ryan.
So up until the attic scene at the end of the show, it feels very unnecessary, because you already have Eleven and Mike having their relationship issues. I don't want to watch 2 teenage couples with both of their relationship issues. Mm-hmm. It's fine if a relationship works, but like, it didn't seem necessary to have both of them having their own struggles.
They're more interesting on their own.
I didn't like it, but for them to be slowly coming back to each other like that was the best part, because it made that attic scene. It's the reason why you cry in that scene. Yeah. They brought each other back together, and then the universe is going to rip them apart again. And that was like, that's the tear jerking part. It's like, no, it just worked. Not now, not Max now.
Yeah.
But I didn't like having 2 teenage relationships having issues.
Now the other, I think, completely unnecessary relationship that they had to shoehorn in so hard, there was a sledgehammer involved in getting this jackhammered in, was the Dustin and Susie. I love them on the Neverending Story thing. That's fine. That was one of the highlights of season 3. I don't care anymore. They're not a couple. I'm sorry. They live a million miles apart. They've talked like twice, I think. Why? I would have rather had the cute memory because let's be honest, out of all these couples, they're not going to last more than a year. So let's put some of that realism with some of these kids, especially if they're that far apart, you know. And I think Susie's a cute little girl, but I hated that. This is the thing that took me out of the season. Don't know why. And I don't know whose fault it is. It's not the actors. It just shouldn't have been. It shouldn't have been written. Ryan, do you disagree?
I disagree. It's your fault. The one I don't like is Nancy and Jonathan and Steve and Robin's weird.
We'll get to that next.
That's the one I don't like. I'm fine with their relationship. It's fine to me.
Doesn't move
at least it's the one that works. It worked in season 3.
Yeah.
And it gave us the great never-ending story. We don't quite get that here, but Susie's actually a valuable character. I mean, she helps them crack the code. You need the two nerds working together. Like they're the really smart kids working together. I like it.
Okay, fair enough. Tyler, you first on this one. Or you next on this one?
Yeah, no, I think like cracking the code and having a useful tool in the storyline. I think that's really all she was good for.
If you edited it out, would you have noticed? If they edited that part out, would you have noticed?
I think they could have found another easy way around cracking the code and figuring it out. Especially, I mean, Dustin's smart.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just if I had to write down a list of things that I just felt unnecessary, or they could have found a different route to go, it would be a small list, but this would be one of them. It'd be them two back and forth. I mean, it was cute and everything, whatever. It didn't take me out.
But. Yeah.
I didn't like the scene in the house.
Yeah,
it
was chaotic.
Felt really strange.
It was a hot mess.
Very chaotic.
I don't know what they were trying to say with it, to be honest. Susie's got a confusing life, and her rebellious older sister.
Susie has a house, and she has siblings, and she has a weird home life. Okay.
And an absent mom or something. Christina, what about you?
So honestly, there's only one other relationship that I absolutely adored in this whole hot mess. And I could have taken or left them. But after we talk about Nancy and Steve and the whole blah, I will share with you the ultimate relationship.
Well, let's hit that. And everyone says it's a 3-way relationship. It's a 5-way relationship. And I think
it's a weird way relationship.
It's okay, because Nancy and George Burns should not be together. It's
George Burns.
I hate how the whole time they're gonna break up. They're gonna break up. They're gonna break up. They don't love each other. They still care, but they don't love each other. Blah blah. And then they have this nice ending, and they don't do it. It's like, really? And then Steve and Nancy are obviously together. Let's be fair. But that's not the relationship I love. I love the Steve and Dustin relationship because it is my favorite relationship on the show. And not in a dirty way, but I love their.
That's funny because mine is Eddie and Dustin.
Dustin is fantastic.
I think that Eddie and Dustin have the ultimate bromance, and it's why it hurts so much when Eddie dies. And it's why, when Eddie decides that he's not going to run anymore and he turns around and here's Dustin putting all on the line to save Eddie because there's that friendship. And they both kind of connect because they're like, yeah, we're not heroes. And they both became heroes in that moment. And I loved everything about that. And I was like, that's the kind of relationship I want to have. That's the kind of friends I want to have where you put it all on the line when it means something. And so I love them together.
I feel like Dustin and Eddie have had a completely different relationship than Dustin and Steve.
Oh, I do agree with that. And I love both. Because
Steve is a father-son relationship, but the thing that's funny with them is it switches. And it turns into Steve looking at Dustin's approval, which I think is just a really and it goes back and forth. And
Yeah, and that's what I like about it. And I think you nailed it when you say father-son relationship, where with Dustin and Eddie, I feel like it's that bromance. It's that,
That's fair. Ryan.
So Dustin, I love Dustin and Eddie too for a different reason. I went to a smaller high school, so I remember the kids who the older kids who looked out for me, or the kids growing up who just throughout the neighborhood, like the kids who were a couple years older than me, who just made sure they had my back just because they knew me or whatever reason it is. And that's where you get the Dustin and Eddie thing. My favorite one is I love Steve and Robin. I love that. The Chip and Dale aspect to the two of them. You're always sitting there oh, are they going to get back? Are they going to get together? And then it's fine. They don't, but it just that relationship works. They're like brother and sister. They're like the duo. And I love the two of them.
Yes. Well, they shouldn't either, because that's something you don't want to force either. I'm walking on eggshells on that, but yeah, that's something that you don't want to force on that, because I think that's I think that as far as having alternative relationships, I'm trying to be as whatever is possible. I think this was the perfect way to do it. Nothing felt forced, and it felt like there's a reason in the story that this happened. Cool, I love it. No questions. Tyler, what about you? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, as far as
we just went all over the board, didn't we?
That whole love square triangle trapezoid.
Hexagon now. I think we're up to hexagon at this point.
I don't even. Will's brother just, I don't know. He needs to go off.
George Burns. I don't like this character at all.
He needs to go hang out with. I really haven't been. He hasn't been a favorite of mine either. Him and his stoner buddy need to go do their thing. Nancy and Steve.
And I want to see them on a road trip.
I love them. I love them together. That's awesome. Their little RV ride there, and the talk he was having and stuff. That was cool. It was special, as far as Eddie and Dustin, yeah, that was probably one of my favorites. Just like Ryan said, that older kid who's got your back. There's a bromance there. Y'all are down. You're going to do anything for each other. But the oldest one's I've been around, so just come here, come under my wing. And then you have Dustin and Steve come off to me like brothers that would just give each other noogies all day long, just back and forth. You know?
But
at the end of the day, when one of them gets in trouble, he's over there.
The other one's there fighting
him. Hey man, it's all good. Mom didn't mean to.
I'm the only one
that kind of thing,
brother. Yeah.
And,
it carries through. Even season 2 when he's getting his bat again. I mean, it's all the way across. It's a consistent relationship, which is something I love about Steve and Dustin, is that it's that consistency.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's good.
And then Steve and Robin, man, that was fun banter the whole time. They
have
fun
a great
to watch.
chemistry. They really do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. They'll throw it in each other's faces. It's great.
Yeah. Now let's hit 11 and Mike. It's a necessary relationship. It needs to be there. I don't care if they don't love each other anymore. Actually, I was more broken up with what she went through with the bullying than the thought of them breaking up or whatever it was that they were talking about ish. But that bully stuff, oh
wow,
my God, that roller skating rink, I would have beyond hit her with a skate. That skate would have been in orifices of her body coming out of other orifices. Oh my gosh. She is evil. That child, the parents need to look at themselves and say, what did I do wrong? Did I sell my soul to Satan for this child? Sorry. Okay.
That was the most satisfying skate injury I've seen.
Oh my gosh. But so going back.
Not that I condone such a thing.
The Mike and 11 relationship. Let's start with Ryan.
No, never. Yeah. For me, 11 doesn't get she shows up in Max's dream, and that's the first moment where I truly care about her, because she's it's the superhero entrance. I was watching that episode and I got off my couch. I'm like, yes, she's gonna do it, but like up until then, I'm just like, oh, she's an annoying teenager, and I guess that's the point of her character is like she's struggling. She's struggling to find her place in this world because she definitely belongs in the Upside Down.
I definitely want 11 to die at the end of this.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Oh,
you just want everybody to.
Oh, wait till you see my last question. I'm going to ask you guys.
the Mike thing's fine. Like she needs all this stuff to move her story, but it's like I find it more and more difficult to care about her character.
Yeah.
Like until she's going to do like 11 things.
And can somebody please feed Mike some cake? Just something. That dude looks so famished.
Can he get a haircut too?
Oh, well, yeah, he just hasn't gotten a haircut, and he hasn't eaten.
I like
apparently.
his hair. I think it's
he looks like a groupie for Kiss.
He looks like
in the 80s.
He looks like Nirvana.
I don't care.
He looks like like a Nirvana fan, like 10 years after Nirvana. Like horrible. Like you're looking for the tracks on their arm. Sorry, I apologize for that.
Like a 1970s Beatles fan.
Oh wow, Tyler, Mike and 11.
Wow. All right.
Follow that.
Yeah. Well, hairstylings and wardrobes aside, no, this season was the first time I was irritated most of the time with those two. It was just the interactions were just you wanted to grab her just tell him what you want him to say, how you feel, blah blah blah. And it was for him, it was just like speak up. There's something on your mind, just say it. You know, it was infuriating half the time. It's just like no, y'all just go to other sides of the country again and just do your thing. You know, I don't know, but you know, like you said, once she starts doing 11 things and all that, you know, it all kind of comes back into play.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, cool. You know, I see why this is necessary and stuff. But this season, before I liked the other seasons, it was fun to watch them. This season, it was just super irritating.
I get it, Christina.
I was an angsty teenage girl, so I love this relationship. The ups, the downs, at the end when he finally tells her, "I love you. I don't want to be without you. I'm afraid you're going to figure out you don't need me."
I'm sorry.
I like this relationship. And I mean, come on. I mean, when we were teenagers, did we have hell? I think theirs might be the most realistic relationship with some of their ups and downs and some of the challenges. Because, I mean, not only are you dealing with the hormonal crap, but it's freaking 11 on top of that. And so I'm a fan.
Fair enough.
Well, I think the three of us have PTSD about dealing with an angsty teenage girl who we just want to just tell me what you want.
Is that what
Get
it
it
is?
out in the air?
Is
Let
that
me
what it
deal
is?
with it that way.
This one's on us. Sorry.
Sean would agree with you after 29 years of marriage.
Last two that I want to talk about are Dr. Brenner and Dr. Owens. No, they're not a relationship, but I just wanted to squeeze them into because I wanted to talk about them.
I missed something.
No. Well, they actually did have if you want to look at it, they had a very mother-father relationship with 11 when he's like, no, you've got to protect her. I'm trying to make her be better. And there was definitely that mother-father relationship. She calls him Papa, and I love when you call me Big Papa, so I don't know how that one works. He was in My Two Dads, so I'm going to use that. That works. I like these two. I'm glad they're both gone. They're off the table. I actually I wanted Modine to die the entire time because you hate him because he's such a jerk. But he goes out like a champ, so I'm like, dang it. You guys have any thoughts on these two characters before we move on?
I couldn't tell where not Papa, but
Dr. Owens.
Dr. Owens.
Yes, Owens.
Yeah.
Owens.
Paul Reiser.
Yeah.
I could never
Paul
tell.
Reiser's a genius.
I couldn't be sure what to think of this guy the whole time.
Was he a good guy or a
because
bad
of
guy?
his relationship with Papa and everything? You know how they.
Big
One minute
Papa,
he's
please.
talking to him like he's a little suspect of Papa, and then the next minute he's going along with everything he says. Like I didn't know what to think of him. It was It was throwing me for a loop there for a little bit.
I think that's the brilliance of that character is the whole time you're waiting for him to do something completely villainous or something completely heroic.
And he's vanilla.
Yeah, and of the two, I like Dr. Owens. He's one of my favorite characters because he's very altruistic across the board.
He's a human.
And yes, and you're just waiting for a bigger moment. And I think they did that and wrote that very well.
Yeah. And I say, and nothing against Matthew Modine as an actor. He is a fabulous actor. I've loved him ever since Gross Anatomy back in the 80s. Great movie, by the way. You should check that one out. But the way he played this was so bad. I wanted him to die since season 2, I think. That's when we first see him.
I was sitting there I hate this guy. Wait, is he doing something good here? Wait, he's doing more bad. I've never rode the fence on a character and been like, oh yeah, I really hate him. I can't wait for him to die. And then he's dying and he totally redeems himself right before he's dead. It's completely I don't think I could be less satisfied with a character arc than his. It's what am I supposed to feel about this guy?
Yeah.
But I think at the end of the day, I like the character right at the end. I'm just happy for the sacrifice there, and then just move on.
It's a good death, right? I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's a good
makes
death.
the show better.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so let's.
I didn't like the way he died though. The blowing up helicopter. It felt this felt like a small budget show. Right until it didn't feel like a small budget show, and it felt more like Terminator 2. It felt like an action movie at that point. I was whatever.
Well, I think that the writers definitely put a lot of that into the show of different kinds of genres that you see from spot to spot, which I think helps. Okay, let's talk the ending now. How blown away were you? I was sitting there screaming at the screen, and my wife looks at me and goes, I told you that half an hour ago. I'm like, shut up. I was like, no. The Vecna reveal was just fantastic. I got to watch Tyler learn who that was. What did you don't lie, I watched. What did you think of the ending there, Tyler?
Oh no, it was wild, man. Because it was you're dancing around all the options of who Vecna could be, and they're giving you this other story about his family and stuff, and it was just, and it's just this. I was actually growing to like one in the lab. His character was just so good, just the way he was just so nice. But what's
Something
he up
off.
to?
Yeah,
but yet he's so nice. It's just he was just a great character in the lab. I don't think I did not suspect that was going to be Vecna. And when we finally started getting that reveal, what? Are you kidding me? But
this is Tyler. What?
When they give you
what?
when they give you the pieces, it all starts. You start
that was
going
a
back,
very
going,
80s
okay,
moment.
Okay, yeah,
So
okay.
80s.
The pieces fall in place when they start giving you everything at the end. It's you're like, why didn't I see that? I should have, but it was a great little twist.
Ryan,
I had my mind blown finding out that
I love it when a
thing
show can
worked
do
out
it.
to be in.
Yep.
It was so good. It's all the puzzle pieces are staring right in your face, and they don't make sense right until they have to put them all together, and they all make sense. The last 2 episodes, I literally sat on my couch and watched it almost as a religious experience. Yeah, I was mind blown. I was completely sucked in the entire time from the second they entered the Upside Down. I was just jaw on the floor. I was screaming at the TV. I'm gritting my teeth. Just it literally for a TV show to give me what felt like a religious experience. I don't get that very often with TV anymore. Even though we get so many fantastic shows, just the level that the Duffer Brothers are at, it's not matched. The Boys does a fantastic job of what they do. Nobody is on the Duffer Brothers level at this point.
No.
And it would take a lot to get there.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because
have you seen Yellowstone?
I have
Stop
not.
with Yellowstone. Stop.
I've never watched Yellowstone. I don't know if I will watch Yellowstone.
The Boys and Stranger Things. We have some group chats with a bunch of people in there, and the second that show's over, everyone's all, "Who's watching? Who's watching? I need to talk about this. We need to process." And it's like it is a psychotic experience. It's like, I need to express now.
Yeah, I brought it up in that chat just to watch the Duffer Brothers carry 4 separate valuable to the entire season shows. You have Russia, you have New Mexico, you have Hawkins, and then you have everything that 11's going through, and it all means something.
Yes.
And for them to do all 4 of those at a high level, even if we have our own issues with what goes on within one of those, they do all 4 of those at an extremely high, extremely watchable level. It's so impressive at the level they operate in storytelling. It's not even, nobody matches it.
Gotcha. Christina, what about you? What do you think?
So when I watch shows, I have to write stuff down because Sean hates it when I give it away because I always figure it out. No. I was like, holy sugar, honey.
I do the same thing.
Like, what the heck? I didn't see it coming. It was so freaking well done. And even the fact that he boomerangs it back on 11, like you made me, not Papa, you did. So, and then all of a sudden, it's almost like that Stranger Things moment where you just kind of see all the pieces coming into your mind and you're like, oh, there. They did this so good. Like, so well.
Vecna's awesome looking. I'm sorry.
He's one of my favorites.
The way that turned out. I know I've seen the comparison with the hairless Grinch, but
he's one of my favorite villains.
Especially up close. That's up close, man. That look.
And you should have seen it in the eyes, and you don't.
I love when they pump the brakes and they're like explaining him creating the Upside Down for himself and like really like taking it over, like taking over the crawler and everything. Like he's just like, so awesome.
It's trippy.
That was so cool. It was like walking around on Mars and then making it his own like world.
It was a Watchmen moment, like Dr. Manhattan.
That's what it felt like.
Very similar to that. He made his own world. You know, we'll get off Watchmen, but that's greatest graphic novel ever. Anyway, so
I don't disagree.
I don't want to fan cast the next season because this is one of those shows that I think is, no matter what you think, it's not going to be as good as what they're going to write. So I'm not going to ask everybody, what do you think is going to happen? But I'm going to ask everybody this. Everyone knows I would like to see at least half the cast gone. You can save one relationship and you can save one character. Who is it? And nobody knew this was coming. So I'm going to start with Christina because you look like I just like spanked your puppy.
Oh, Dustin. Dustin has to survive. Dustin has my heart. He is every mama's boy. He is everybody's best bud. He is incorrigible. He sometimes is brilliant, sometimes makes stupid decisions.
That's a good one. That's a good
survive.
Pick. That's a great pick.
He has to survive. As far as relationships, God, that's hard. I'm only one. Can I do 2?
One.
Just
one.
Not the dub. No, I'm gonna go with Joyce and Hopper.
I agree 100% on that one.
It is such a beautiful, beautiful relationship. There's so much sorrow, so much joy, so much pain. It's just so human.
Yeah, they need each other. Ryan, what about you, bud? Save one and save one relationship.
If I have to save one person, I'm saving Steve. I love Steve.
Really?
Steve's my favorite.
Wow.
I love Steve so
but
much.
I want him to die.
Steve would have been my number 2. I love Steve.
I want Steve to live, and I want Steve and Nancy's relationship to survive.
Wow.
But if I can't have Steve and Nancy, I want 11 and Hopper.
Oh, that's really good.
That's the good one.
I like that.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
That one meant a lot at the end.
Yeah. Now, I tell you why I don't. I gotta just put this out real quick. Why I don't want Steve. Why I want Steve to die. I want him going out heroic, being the babysitter and literally saving all the kids at one time. That's what I want to see, because that's the death he deserves, and that's the memorable moment that he deserves.
I would have said that right up until the RV scene, and the RV scene struck a chord with me.
Fair enough. And I love the character. I love that.
That's my favorite scene.
There's a meme that somebody made that said that Nancy and Steve should have their own spinoff where they keep getting these jobs and there's something supernatural going on, and then they fix it and save the world, get fired, and the next season is the new job. And I would totally buy into that.
Their show survived. It's called Roseanne.
Oh. Wow. Tyler, go ahead, man.
Man, it's actually it's hard decisions here, because I don't want everybody to die. So
who do you want? You can save one.
If I'm going to save one, and we can't bring Eddie back,
then
it's going to be Dustin. And the relationship is, I think Christina cleared up all the reasons why. The relationship's going to be Joyce and Hopper. I absolutely.
You're like my little brother.
That helps me keep Hopper in the mix too. I don't.
Nice. Fair enough. Now, if I could save one, it's going to be Max. I love this character a lot.
I get that.
I think that she has been through more. She deserves to live.
She was the star of this show.
Fair enough.
This entire season, she was the star.
And since everybody else has said the Hopper and Joyce, I'm not going to use that one because everyone else has done it. I'm going to go a completely different route. George Burns and Argyle. Yes.
Wow.
You know what? Again, we want to talk about a spin-off show. I'm in. But just,
oh my gosh!
Of course, he'd have to grow a beard or something and cover that hideous face he has. But I mean, the dude looks like a thumb. This thumb guy, makes more money than I'll ever make. I get it, but yeah,
he was a stoner. You know, they had to make him look.
He looks a little bit like he'd be a natural on Planet of the Apes. A little bit.
And but I mean, my first choice, of course, is Hopper and Joyce.
Can you imagine them riding past the Statue of Liberty? What he would say.
And I either 11 or Mike's got to die, but I think it's going to be 11. Or maybe
you what?
Either 11 or Mike, I think, has to die. But
I think 11 needs to make the ultimate, but that's just mine.
But we'll see by the end of next season. I'm pretty
11
sure
11 has to kill Will.
We'll do this one quick because I'm pretty sure I know what everybody's answer is. Give us your grades, and we're going to get out of here. Ryan, grade.
So I'm just going to be honest. This show at this point is a 10. I don't know what other show can hit this level. I'm so excited for the way this is going to wrap up.
I don't think the next season can be as good. That's my only issue with it. Tyler.
It's the Duffer Brothers. They can do it.
Yeah, I've got a lot of faith in them too. We'll see. This grade, I guess, since we're doing number scales today, I'm gonna give it a.
We changed.
I'm gonna give it a straight up 9.
That's good. Yep. Christina, what do you give it?
9.5.
Yeah, I am very close. I'm gonna go 9.3 because I don't want to get too close to that A+ because I think I've only given 1 ever, and I'm not planning on. But this show is fantastic. Now, tell me again at the end of next season, maybe it'll change because that can be a perfection wrapping up. But check out the website, www.iheartgeekshow.com. Use Conway Paid X for it. Hit the subscribe button. We'd appreciate it a lot. Go to our Twitter, go to our Instagram, go to our Facebook. We talk to us. We do talk back. And until next time, I'm Dub. I'm here with Ryan. We're here with Tyler. We're here with Christina. Keep on geeking on, guys. We'll see you next time.
You have been listening to the latest episode of the iHeart Geek Show. make sure you visit our website at www.iheartgeekshow.com. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And if you check us out on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And keep on geeking on to all of you geek rock stars.